This is crazy, but walking 30 minutes per day can lower blood sugar, shrink belly fat, support your metabolism, clear brain fog, flatten your stomach, and even lower your risk of dying by 50%. And here's the craziest part. It works faster than most diets and supplements. Now there's some caveats here. The walking needs to be at a certain time, and I'm gonna outline all of that and give you exactly a timeline here of exactly what's happening to your body day after day for 7 days if you walk 30 minutes every single day. Let's break it all down. Day one, here's what's gonna happen. The switch flips. You begin to move your biggest muscles inside of your body, your glutes, your quads, your hamstrings. This instantly increases insulin sensitivity as glucose is sucked into the muscle cells, not fat cells. It's like a sponge to absorb the glucose. This helps because we have an epidemic of insulin resistance. And when insulin is high, you're storing fat. So you feel a gentle boost in energy. Digestion improves and cravings decrease slightly by the evening. When you time this walk right after your biggest meal of the day, you're going to get the most benefits here. A recent study showed that walking after meals lowered those glucose spikes after the meal, called postprandial glucose, by 20 to 30%, outperforming metformin in some cases. Metformin is a blood sugar reducing medication used on diabetics. And all that's happening the first day you get a 30-minute walk-in, ideally after your biggest meal of the day. Day two, here's what's happening next. Sugar burning slows and fat burning begins. On day two, your resting blood sugar starts to dip. Insulin levels will normalize a little faster after meals, and you start using more fat for fuel, less sugar. You'll notice your mood will begin to lift, and you may even notice better sleep at night. Walking increases something called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's kind of like brain fertilizer, miracle grow for the brain. This is a chemical that supports mood, learning, and neuroplasticity. So by day two, you're gonna feel more creative, have more focus, and in general, be more productive just by going for a 30-minute walk, again, ideally after your biggest meal of the day. Let's move on to what happens on day three here. Energy levels continue to improve, bloating begins to drop. You're gonna wake up with less bloating, especially if that walk is after your last meal of the day. Midday crashes are starting to fade because you're normalizing blood sugar and insulin levels, and your digestion will continue to improve. If you struggle with bloating, acid reflux, GERD, constipation, or even diarrhea, post-walk meals improves all of that, helping to reduce gas and stomach discomfort. If you're tracking steps, you're likely to be around 5,000 to 8,000 steps a day, which is a major threshold for incredible metabolic benefits. As a matter of fact, there was a really comprehensive study. This was a meta-analysis done by the European Society of Cardiology in collaboration with the University of Massachusetts Amherst. It analyzed 15 studies involving 50,000 patients, and it showed that walking about 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day was associated with a 50 to 70% reduction in all-cause mortality compared to those who walked fewer steps. So by doing this, walking after the meals, walking 30 minutes a day, getting at least 5,000 steps a day, you're actually extending your lifespan. This is super cool. This brings us to day four. Belly fat targeting is activated. Visceral fat, the fat around your organs, that applies pressure, it's highly inflammatory, that begins to reduce as your body uses stored fat for energy more efficiently. Studies even show at a moderate pace for 30 minutes a day of walking starts to shrink deep belly fat stores. Your insulin response is sharper, your blood sugar curve becomes flatter, and cravings drop more significantly. And I'll reference that study down below. On day five, there's a hormone balance and the metabolic adaptation that is occurring. Leptin, a satiety fat-burning hormone, begins to rise, so you feel fuller longer. Ghrelin, your hunger hormone that tells you to go to your pantry and eat those Doritos, drops, so you have fewer cravings. You start burning more calories even while you're sitting, thanks to improved mitochondrial efficiency and muscle glucose uptake. And a bonus tip, if you get in another walk in the morning during sunrise and or during the evening during sunset, you actually sync your hormones with circadian rhythm and get even more major benefits. This brings us to day 6 here, anti-inflammation mode. Chronic inflammation markers start dropping, C-reactive protein, homocysteine, even fasting insulin, thanks to better blood flow and lymphatic circulation. This improves joint stiffness, skin health, and even immune function. Your body is now shifting into fat-burning mode, even at rest, because you're keeping insulin low. You'll notice mental clarity. That'll begin to spike. Most people report clearer thinking and less brain fog around this time, which brings us to day number 7. Metabolic upgrade locked in. Your cells are more insulin sensitive. GLUT4 transporters are more active. This means your body's sucking up the glucose into your muscle and liver cells, not storing it as fat. If you were consistent with the 30-minute walk after your biggest meal of the day, by day 7, you should have dropped now 4 to 8 pounds of fat, and a portion of that being water weight as well. Your metabolism is more flexible, and you're officially getting out of that sugar burning trap. I think walking is the most underrated tool for not just health and wellness, but for fat loss. It's the king, the queen, and everything in between. I'm gonna get to your questions here on this topic. Before I do, I wanna encourage you to go get my brand new book, Metabolic Freedom, which shows you how to burn fat, lower inflammation, a complete 30-day plan, biohacks for fat loss, and my favorite chapter, chapter 10, on how your thoughts influence your health or disease. You can get the book today with a free course on the metabolism by scanning the QR code on the screen or going to metabolicfreedombook.com or clicking the link in the notes down below. Now let's get to your questions. Can I break my 30-minute walk into 3 10-minute walks? You can, absolutely. And now if you time those 10-minute walks after your 3 meals of the day, you'll get the most benefits. If that's hard to do because of your schedule, totally fine. Just get in those 3 10-minute walks sometime throughout the day and you're still going to benefit. Is fasted walking better than walking after meals? This is a tough one. I think if you could do both, you'll get the most benefits here. But depending on how overweight and insulin resistant you are, if you are over 20 pounds of weight right now and you know you're insulin resistant, then I would say walking after your meals, especially the biggest meal of the day, a 30-minute walk after that meal will get you the biggest benefits. But if you want to walk in the morning on an empty stomach, that has tremendous fat loss benefits as well. This is a tough one. Pick and choose. It doesn't really matter. You'll benefit either way. Can I walk on a treadmill or does it need to be outside? It doesn't need to be outside, but there are more benefits going outside in nature and walking. Sometimes the weather does not permit, but if you have a treadmill, that's fine as well. You could even get a stand-up desk with a walking treadmill underneath the desk where you could walk and work at the same time. You could pace around your house or apartment, pace around your backyard. Doesn't matter. Just get the 30 minutes of walking every single day. Those benefits will begin to accumulate and compound over time. What if I walk but don't change my diet? Will I still lose fat? Ideally, you do want to change your diet and get rid of high processed foods, high carbohydrate diets, and replace them with high fat and high protein. You'll still benefit if you make no dietary changes, but ideally, if you decrease your carbohydrates and increase protein and fat, you will accelerate those benefits. In general, you want to keep your total carbohydrates under 100 grams of total carbs per day. Even better if you could drop that under 50 grams of total carbs per day. I map all of that out in my 30-day plan in the book, Metabolic Freedom. Does walking help if I already work out in the gym? Yes. I love that you're working out in the gym and doing strength training. There's so many benefits to that. However, the walking has different benefits, especially when it's timed after eating a meal. So I would recommend doing both. Continue doing your workouts at the gym and get in 30 minutes of walking every day. And look, you could even do that after your workout. When you're done strength training, go on the treadmill and walk for 30 minutes or 10 minutes, but make sure you do both. How can I stay consistent when the weather is bad or my schedule is full? If the weather is bad, as I mentioned, just walk inside, pace around your house, your apartment, get a treadmill. If your schedule doesn't permit, then it would be a good idea to get a walking treadmill and a stand-up desk. That's what I have here, by the way. I have both, where you put the desk up, put the treadmill underneath the desk. They're not that expensive, by the way. And I'll put a couple links down below for a walking treadmill that's affordable and a stand-up desk. But you could work and get those steps in at the same time. Now, if you have a pet like a dog, my dog where is he? He's sleeping over here. It forces you to go outside and walk him. Another benefit, many benefits to owning a dog. But whatever you can do to fit it in is going to be beneficial. How many steps do I need a day to maintain results after the first week? Ideally, you want to get your total step count to at least 10,000 steps a day. And if you really want to accelerate fat loss, bring it up to 14,000 steps a day. I think the bare minimum here should be at least 7,000 steps a day on a continuous basis. How do you track your steps? Well, you could use something like an Oura ring, like I have here, and I'll drop a link for the Oura ring down below. Fitbit tracks it, Apple Watches track it. There's a Whoop band that tracks it. I'll put links and references for all of those. And there are different ways to track it, but you want to get at least 7,000 steps a day, stay consistent, and you'll maximize those results. I know when I travel, and I travel a lot to speak on stages, it's hard to get in my steps when I'm at an airport. So I'll walk around the airport, try to get as many steps as possible. You could also get creative. And when you're going to a shopping center, instead of trying to find the closest parking spot, park far and walk. Instead of taking the elevator, take the stairs. Instead of taking the escalator, or if you're taking an escalator, walk on that escalator. There's creative ways to get in those steps. If you do it, you're gonna notice amazing results. And let me know, for those watching on YouTube, who's up for the challenge? Who's gonna walk 30 minutes every day for the next 7 days? Let me know by typing in "I am in," and I can't wait to hear about your results. If this was valuable, please share it with somebody you know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you love this lesson, there is the #1 exercise that you can be doing right now for burning belly fat. I just published a video all about that. Here's a clip, then click the video on the screen, and I'll see you in that next lesson. The best part about what I'm gonna share with you today, it does not require willpower. You don't have to count calories. And as a matter of fact, one of the worst ways to lose weight and belly fat is to focus on calories. It's the biggest mistake people make. Focusing on calories is a huge mistake. For example, you could